Although most things transpired around the house at 123, I believe the streets and the neighborhood community made me who I am. My family and I moved to the house on Marvin Boulevard during a big life change. My parents were getting a divorce. Myself, my mom, and my two brothers were going to start a new chapter in our lives in this small brick home at 123 Marvin Boulevard in the then small city of Warner Robins, Georgia. What I didn't know at the time was this house with the bad tile and the ugly brown appliances would be the house that built me, and the people on the street would be like a second family, all of us learning and growing as the years passed us by. I lived in the house on Marvin from the time I was 10 until well after I graduated high school. It was in that house where I made some of my best friends and experienced so many first and memorable times in my life. It was where I first started wearing makeup and caring about how I looked. My friends and I would sit around getting all dolled up and stare at ourselves in the mirror for what seemed like hours. Living in the house on Marvin is where I became a brace face, headgear, rubber bands, and all. When I did get those braces off in 9th grade, I had the prettiest smile around. I think it was that smile that got me my first real boyfriend, which led to my first kiss, which in turn led to my first time, and it was also this first boyfriend who led me to experience my first broken heart. In that house is when I first broke the rules. I got into fights with my mom, stayed out all night with my friends, snuck out, and even got caught breaking curfew. The house on Marvin was also the place where I smoked my first cigarette, a Virginia Slim 120 stolen from my friend's mom. It's also where I drank my first sip of alcohol, which turned into my first time getting drunk. And it was also the place where my friends and I would sneak to the backyard shed and smoke pot. Not everything that happened on Marvin was bad. I got my first job working at a local grocery store. It's where I learned how to drive. So what if I had to take the test twice? It's where I went to prom, and also where I graduated high school with a 3.5 GPA. The house at 123 was also where I gained my first taste of the real world. My mom moved out after graduation, and my friends and I stayed behind to pay the bills to start our adult lives. Like I said, this house holds so many memories and experiences that shaped the person I became. The most memorable and incredible gift this house bestowed upon me was my husband. He came to the house on Marvin when I was 16. I didn't know it then, but a few years later, after the house was just a place filled with so many of my memories, he would come back into my life and I would marry him. Not only did this house lay the foundation for my youth, it also held a stepping stone for my future. It really did build who I have become, the best version of me.